Hey, Drew. Hey,
Hi,
everybody.
hi, how you doing?
I'm Pam Church. This is Bruce Church. We're in Castle Rock, Colorado, and we are with Drew Ennis today, who's in Australia. And Drew, we're so grateful to be with you today. Before we get started, everyone, what we would like to do is thank you for watching this webinar. The reason we wanted to put this together because we know that you are looking to make a decision on whether or not to go through the step-by-step process with us to help launch your business in online marketing or to increase your business with online marketing. So thank you all for checking this out. And I believe that if you watch this video, you're going to gain value just from seeing what we're going to discuss here today without even going through the steps. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to tee up Drew here because Drew, Bruce and I actually just got into online marketing this year, and we didn't know a thing about it. We come from other backgrounds where we've had some success, but we decided that, we needed to get involved with online marketing, probably just the same way that you're thinking the same thing, because we know it's a big disruptor in business. Well, you're in the right place. Bruce and I have always found it very, very important that we latch on to and hire the best people to learn from and the best people to work with. So you are in for a treat today because Drew is one of those people. Drew has probably 6, 7 years in online marketing success. He's a seven-figure earner. And we are just grateful that Drew has become one of our top coaches. So when you decide if you want to go through the step-by-step process with us at the end of this video, you will have had the chance to meet Drew Ennis and hear from him. Bruce, I believe, is going to ask Drew some questions. So Bruce, you want to take it away?
Hi, mate.
Yeah,
Hey, just before you do that, I just want to thank you for that amazing introduction. It's an absolute pleasure to be here on the call with you guys today. One of the things that's always impressed me from the first time that we met is that you've come into this what I call the internet arena, and a lot of people think that it's some sort of mythical place where magic happens, and the reality is it can be. But you need to come in here with the same sort of mindset and approach that would underpin success in any type of business, whether that's a traditional business or franchise. So seeing that you've sort of come in here with that business mindset in place already, it's no wonder that you guys are having the early success that you're having here. So it's a pleasure being here today, and it's a pleasure working with you.
so Drew, just a minute ago, you mentioned the internet being a magical place and being a viable place for everyone to make a living. So I guess let me kind of dovetail with that and say the first question would be, tell me about, do you really think, or what do you believe about the internet being a viable arena just for the average everyday person to make a suitable living in?
Yeah. It's a great question, and it's a question that I often get asked. And just really to set the scene, so people understand a little bit about my background, I actually come from a traditional business background out of construction and then finance, so funding construction projects. I've run large businesses and managed large teams, and I've also then been involved in IT. So as far as business goes, I've always been my previous businesses and day-to-day activity has always been in what I would call the sort of bricks and mortar economy. And it wasn't until around 2008, 2009 that I started to look at the internet for ways in which I could better lead generate for my finance company. And that sort of led me into this what I call the internet arena, online marketing space, where, it was like literally deers in the headlight. I just immediately saw the possibilities. And if you think about where we were even just 5 years ago in the context of, available technology and, people's perception to transacting online, it was fairly crude, and there was a lot of skepticism. And if you think of how far we've come just in these sort of last short 5 years, and imagine if you project that forward, where we'll be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, people can't argue that the internet, firstly, again, just let's get back to logic and basics. It's not going away. The internet is not going away; it's here to stay. And I think about the impact that the internet is having, just in my everyday life as a husband and a father, raising 2 young kids. Somebody that's doing the day-to-day activity of running a household, so internet banking and purchasing and so on and so forth. There isn't any aspect of human life, of our everyday human life, that hasn't been affected, or will continue to be affected. From the way that we educate ourselves and our children, from the way that we research almost every buying decision that we make, whether we're going to do that online or offline, to the way in which we communicate, the fact that I'm here in Australia and you're in the States, and we can seamlessly communicate over the internet and see each other and talk and share files and so on and so forth. And I look at it and I look at the technology that's now readily available to everyday people, from a mobile phone to an app, to really, simple computers that, don't cost a lot of money. And even the communication channel that we're on at the moment, it's free. Like, we're communicating free over the internet. And so for an everyday person, there's never been a time like there is today in the course of human history where you can actually just make a decision that you want to, and I call it sort of retooling. You sort of want to upskill yourself, develop a new skill set, change the direction or course of your life, whether that be personally or in a professional business sense. There's never been a time in human history where that has been more accessible and more available to a person than there is right now. And if you think about where we are now in terms of how easy it is to transact online, and how people have overcome their skepticism, and you roll that ball forward, doing business on the internet is going to be commonplace. And it's never been more affordable or accessible for an everyday person to compete with large corporations. Like, if you think back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, it's like we didn't know what we didn't know. So the internet and marketing on the internet and the cost of getting things done internet related was sky high. So it was cost prohibitive for everyday people. But today, with a mobile phone that everyone carries, I think, that a lot of people even have 2, and you've got apps, apps that are on this that, in the most part, most are free, and people can really do business anywhere in the world where they've got an internet connection. And I was listening to something more recently that I thought was really, not intriguing, it was just sort of logical. It was talking about when you look at the development of, technology, particularly over time. Since 2000, we've been in what's called the early developmental years, and that was probably through 2000, 2010. And then from 2010 probably through 2020, the ideas that were being conceptualized and developed, in that sort, from that early tech stock age, are now well and truly into what's called the commercialization phase. It's where people are now figuring out how to actually monetize the internet, so how to make money on it, and that's the phase that we're in at the moment. And then the one last example that I want to get people to get their head around is, there's never been a time where an everyday person can, take the knowledge that they have or the passion that vests inside of them and learn how to package or productize that in a way that can then be marketed over the internet and reach a global audience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, and reach that audience through simple websites and through videos, places like YouTube. They can search for anything online at the press of a button with Google. And a great example of what's possible, I think, is Facebook. Facebook was nothing more than the commercialization of someone's idea, Mark Zuckerberg's. And then once he commercialized that and productized it, and deployed it into the marketplace and got some critical mass, they figured out how to monetize it. And that is just a great example. And then all of a sudden you've got somebody that was just an everyday person now all of a sudden becoming a multi-billionaire and overnight. That's the opportunity that the internet presents for everyone. It's readily accessible, it's not going away, and it's disrupting every area of human life. And for an everyday person that wants to change the direction of their life away from, say, a traditional business or job, rooted, as I say, in the traditional bricks and mortar economy, then the digital economy over the internet presents an enormous opportunity.
Sure does. That's rich.
So great information, Drew. You know, and we had an opportunity to meet you recently in Thailand, and I'll tell you the amount and the vast knowledge that you have about this industry is, I mean, it's incredible. That's why we're looking forward to working with you. And I know we've heard you talk about, you know, your 6 golden rules within this industry, and you know those golden rules are really really outlined or detailed towards somebody having a successful career in this. And by success, I mean, you know, somebody able to make 6 figures, and not just make 6 figures, but make it fast. So could you talk about your 6 golden rules for this, for the internet industry?
So when we talk about, you know, our industry or our space, we're really talking about a niche within the internet arena called online marketing. You know, we're obviously here today because as business owners and entrepreneurs, we're trying to develop new skills and learn how to leverage technology, enable technology, you know, from simple devices and computers and, you know, access Wi-Fi networks and so on and so forth to give us what is a little bit cliche and marketed out there, but that laptop lifestyle. Let's just talk about that for a moment because, like, quite seriously, I mean, who wouldn't want the laptop lifestyle? And it's becoming more important to a lot of people today. Like literally the ability to be geographically located anywhere in the world, and wherever you can access a Wi-Fi connection and get onto the World Wide Web, then you can be you know, doing business in some degree, or you can be monitoring and reporting on websites that you've set up that are running 24/7, 365 days of the year, marketing products and services to different niche markets and creating income streams, multiple income streams that are literally just coming into your personal banking situation from anywhere around the world to allow you to have that laptop lifestyle. The other day I was thinking about, you know, the segmentation of different people. So who is this for? If we can just discuss that just briefly, the reality is it's pretty much for everyone. You know, if you look at where we are again in the course of human history, you know, the greatest financial movement is already on foot, and that's the baby boomers, the retirees. And most baby boomers and retirees are now realizing that they need to retool, they need to reskill, and they're turning to the internet to get that information and that education. They're turning to the internet to figure out how they can actually fund their retirement now because most people are living longer. An online business, an internet business, is suitable for retirees, grey nomads, people that want to create some degree of automated income to allow them to fund their retirement, to allow them to travel, right? So they want to live the laptop lifestyle, but they realise that there's some reskilling, retooling, however you want to look upon it. Then if we go to the other end of the spectrum, you've got all of these college kids that you know, are graduating, they're coming out of their particular program, and obviously our educational system here is different to yours. But nevertheless, you've got these in many cases, these highly educated people coming out of the educational system with student debt that they're having to pedal as fast as they can to get rid of the student debt, but also just deal with everyday life. And that's really weighing down the economy. So a lot of these people are now realizing that the degrees that they've qualified for, there's not enough jobs to go around. So they're going onto the internet to see how they can put themselves in a situation where they can at least impart some of the skills that they've been focusing on developing. But there's even a degree of retooling for them now if they want to take advantage of the digital economy. And the other thing too that I think a lot of young people are realising is there's just not enough jobs to go around. And with the internet not going away, they're now seeing the internet again as a viable arena whereby they can do what a lot of young people want to do. And the reality is they want instant gratification. They want it now. They don't want to wait. Okay, so they want to figure out how they can make their millions of dollars overnight. So a lot of them are turning to the internet. So you've got these two broad spectrums. And then in between, you've got, and I just broadly classify everyone in there as life changers. I'm not talking about people having a midlife crisis at 45 plus. But what I'm really talking about is, it could be, say, a successful corporate person, and now for whatever reason, they're having sort of this epiphanic moment where they're going, you know what, I need to retool, I need to reskill. I'm not happy with the direction that that my corporate business is going in. So they're turning to the internet and they're going, well, you know what, I want a piece of that laptop lifestyle. I want to, I've put 20 years into my career and I've missed my kids growing up and so on and so forth. So they're going, how do I redefine my life moving forward? Now that's not, like I said, a midlife crisis. That's a life change moment. And that's a life change moment that again needs some retooling, some new information, some new education, and again, just learning how to then apply that to creating businesses or a business online that they can take their their lifelong career skill set from and put it into business in the digital economy in a different way. So and those life changes are all around us. They're women that are had a baby late in life. And they were career oriented, but now they don't want to go back into the workforce, but they still want to be stimulated.
Right.
They're stay-at-home mum and dads. They're essential services people that realise that they're 4 days on and 3 days off, and that level of income is not going to get them to where they want to be. So you've got people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all ages, male and female, it doesn't matter, all now looking at the internet for the information, the education, the tools, the resources, and everything that they need to actually create secondary income streams or primary income streams to fulfill on that sort of life change moment. I do have some golden rules, and these are the golden rules that really also underpin success in any business. And the first one is timeless. And it sort of comes back to one of those age-old sayings: when you help enough people get what they want, you in turn will get what you want, right? So this comes down to the delivery of value. It says that there's only one way that you can demand more from the marketplace in monetary terms, and that is you need to elevate and rise in value. You need to increase the value that you can share and impart to the world. And that's what drives all economic force, because people will pay for value. So first and foremost, the golden rule is you need to lead with value first and then sell on the back end of that value. The reality is there's no myth, there's no magic. The basic the fundamentals of all business apply here. First and foremost, deliver value, deliver it in a rich, relevant way across multimedia platforms to your target audience, and allow the target audience to engage with you, to start to know, love and trust you. And then once you've formed that relationship, which underpins all business, then they'll transact with you. First rule. The second rule is, and this is really, I think, important, it's not so much internet business related, it's related to all business. If you want to be a business owner and an entrepreneur, and you're particularly coming from that sort of life change perspective, well-intentioned people in your close circle of influence are going to step in your way. And they're, rather than supporting you in your new dreams and goals and objectives and aspirations, they're probably going to be standing in front of you saying, hey, you know what, the internet's a scam, I heard of such and this happened, and why do you think you can do that, and you can't do that. And so you're going to have all of these well-intentioned people give you every reason under the sun why you can't be a success online. They think they're coming from a heart-centered place. So my second golden rule is never stop believing in yourself. I mean, that underpins the sort of the character and the makeup of every successful business person, whether it be online or offline, or people in any endeavor, sports people particularly. So never stop believing in yourself. Don't listen to other people. Go passionately towards what it is that you want to achieve. And again, it just comes down to fundamentals. You're better off leading by example. Develop the skills, become effective, and let your results do the talking, and that will silence the critics. And many of those critics are going to be people that are in your close circle of friends. So I would say ignore the critics, believe in yourselves. There is absolutely no such thing as get rich quick in traditional business or on the internet. And I really, this is one that I like to deal with right up front. Are there scammy things on the internet? Yes, but there's scammy things in all commercial endeavors, offline, online, it doesn't matter. There are people out there that, that's just the character of who they are. They're going to try and separate you from your money. That's just a fact of life and fact of doing business, and that's why it's really important that you educate yourself, you actually understand what's going on, and you take calculated and educated risks. A lot of people gravitate to the internet under some false pretense that they're going to make overnight riches. Well, most people that have become very, very successful in business and in life, both online or offline, are going to tell you that their success came over time. And their success came by concentrating on the fundamentals that underpin success in all business, not from some gadget or gimmick or tool that's delivered over the internet that promises you overnight riches. So there's no such thing as get rich quick. You've got to put time, money, and effort in to making money on the internet, and you've got to focus on the fundamentals and just going through the process that that any educated person would go through to make sure that their business can what I call stand the test of time. And those principles are the same in traditional business or online. The fourth thing comes back to what I just talked about. You need to work on building the foundation of your business as you would. It's a bit like building a house. You're not going to go and put a house on top of an unstable foundation. So there'll be foundational elements that are required to be in place to create a business that can be sustainable longer term. And that's really important because you don't want to be a one-hit wonder. Like, typically the business model that we're involved in is affiliate marketing, indirect sales. There's lots of variations. Now, when there are principles that govern success in an online business, as traditional businesses we've talked about. So you want to make sure that those core elements are in place. Now, one of the benefits of people, getting coaching or mentoring and getting around people like yourself and coming into a proven system that's particularly step by step in nature, is so that people actually go about implementing those key foundational elements that are going to allow them to create a business and then have that business be able to scale up. So the core foundational elements are important. Now, these are things that we teach in the coaching program, and these are things that have led to the early success that you guys have been having, because you've gone through the step-by-step implementation process to make sure that those core fundamentals underpin your business. And as a result of that, you can now scale long-term wealth versus short-term income. You don't want to be a one-hit wonder. It's not about that next launch where you're going to make a few dollars. If you're truly after that longer-term laptop lifestyle, then you need to actually have a business that's structured in a way that will allow you to create multiple streams of income coming into your situation, irrespective of whether you're turning up every day working. That's the goal of everyone. And it's possible. So the next thing is be prepared for failures, because they're going to come. I talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. The reality is, as a business owner or entrepreneur, you're not going to have all up days. You're going to have down days as well. Start to, condition your mindset, and it's almost it's a reflection of your emotional intelligence as well. So start to actually build out your character, so you are the person that can respond accordingly when there are challenges. And they're going to be. There's always challenges in business and life. It's seasonal almost. So what you have to do is you have to, I talk about, make a pre-commitment to yourself, that you're going to be the person that you need to be when the challenges come, to rise above those, to allow you to continue moving forward in the pursuit of your highest goals and objectives. Prepare for failure, have contingency plans, fail fast, fail forward, but always keep moving forward to the attainment of your goals. And lots of people turn to the internet and they'll try something for 5 minutes and they'll go, well, that didn't work. I can remember when I started my first traditional business, I put 3 years in there before the business turned a profit. Like, it wiped its face for 3 years. And so I was building the foundation of my traditional business, and funnily it was a construction company. So I was literally building the foundation of my business. And I can remember my wife used to say to me, when are we going to get to bring home the big bags of money? and I'm like, when we've suitably built the foundation of the business and we start to scale the business. And for most traditional business owners, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The reality is most traditional businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Drew?
Yeah.
So on that note, I was just talking with a lady today, coaching her, and I'm finding it's very common for people. Even Bruce and I had to kind of change our mindset, because a lot of us, maybe we've stepped out into something like network marketing or direct sales to learn how to be an entrepreneur. It seems like there's a lot of hype. So people are getting misinformed to thinking they might could get rich quick or get rich faster. And they're not, the proper expectations are not being built up. So I really love that you're covering that part.
Yeah, like fast is an interesting thing. Like I've, in the last, let's call it year and a half, almost 2 years, I've probably spoken to about 5,000 people from all around the world, from all walks of life. And, obviously I'm not suggesting that I've coached all of them, but a high percentage of those people, let's say I've worked with 20% of those people, that's a vast number of people from broad cross sections. 80% of those people, their primary objective is to build fast to $10,000 a month. Now, that's not a number that I've pulled out of my head. We take people through a strategy session, business plan, and they work through a questionnaire document with me. And without fail, over 80% of people say to me that their primary objective is to build to $10,000 per month fast. And when I ask them why, they say, the typical response is, well, it's because my income is somewhere between $5,000 to $10,000 now, and that sounds like a nice round target to aim for, right? Because I think if I had that sort of uplift, or I doubled my income, my life would change. Now, obviously, we know that money is nothing more than the means of exchange. So what we do is we need to open people up so they start to actually understand the context of money. If it's just the means of exchange, then what's primarily driving people to want to increase the income or to improve the quality of their life? So we take them right back through this process where we get into, well, let's paint the picture. What does your ideal workday look like? What does your ideal family life look like? What does your ideal recreational time look like? And what if we were able to show you a way that you could build income, multiple income generating websites or activities that were leveraging technology, right, to allow you to actually have this really, and we talk about work-life balance, but imagine actually being able to create a situation where you could leverage technology to create that sort of work-life balance. So it was really blurry between what was work and what was play. So that's really where we need to take people back, so they start to give meaning to the value of money.
Right.
And once we've got them coming from that place, right, we can then start to manage their expectation. Because if you can invest a few $1,000s and then start to build an internet business that can then start to create, $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month and beyond, the value of that income stream is a lot. I think it has more intrinsic value than, say, working in the traditional bricks and mortar economy. Because if you're doing it off your internet and you're doing it on your terms and you're doing it somewhere in the world that you desire to be, then as a person from a lifestyle perspective, it's the value of it is like it's almost priceless. Because you're not stuck in traffic, you're not in the cubicle, you're not being dictated to by somebody else's time clock or terms and conditions and so on and so forth. So there's a lot more intrinsic value, but we've got to get them back to, well, what is the primary reason? What is driving you internally to actually want to make change? What is driving you to achieve those types of income? Because if someone wants to go from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 100, unless they can see themselves as being the person that can do that and also give meaning to the value of that, it won't happen. And they'll never develop the mindset and or that the emotional intelligence to realize that, okay, there's a skill set here that's going to need to be developed also that will precede that income. There's no such thing as overnight riches. It's a process. And if you have the right coaching and mentoring and you have the right systems, we sum it up like this: people, products, process. People, products, process. If you surround yourself with the right people, get the right coaching and mentoring, if you've got the right product, products, so they're products that are in demand that solve people's biggest problems, right? And you've got the right process, right? You've got the right business process systems, proven systems, technology, and you can learn how to leverage that, then there's no limit to what you can achieve. And if you've got the sort of the personal growth along with that at the same time, then you can start to scale. People, when we can get everyday people to start to think like that and then act like that, then we know that they can have what they want to achieve longer term.
One more golden rule you have.
Yeah, find what works. Just find one thing that works and scale it. People often say to me, what's the secret? What's the magic bullet? What's the, now that we're on the inside, and I always laugh when they say that, now that I'm on the inside of what, I'm not sure, tell us that secret, that golden, that one thing, and there isn't one thing. If you look at, most top producers in any type of income opportunity or marketing any particular, product or service, and you actually look at the core of what's going on, you'll see that their business is built really stably with these 5 or 6 core elements that you'll learn about in the coaching program, and you'll find that they're not spread too thin. They're not chasing that shiny object. That they are typically focusing on one thing and they've become expert at that one thing. I'm not suggesting they have all of their eggs in the one basket. They do. They will have other marketing tactics that are also contributing to their business, their lead generation or whatever. But they will be primarily focused on one thing. So that's the other golden rule here. Find what works for you and make a commitment to yourself that you're going to become expert at it, and put the time, effort, and energy and investment into becoming expert at that. And it doesn't matter whether it's video marketing, blogging, Facebook marketing, banner advertising, PPC, PPV. It doesn't matter whether you're a great communicator, so your skill is in sales rather than marketing, or vice versa, and focus on developing that, and that will underpin the success that you're looking for in your business. So don't get distracted.
Right. And even though, people get into entrepreneurship to be unique, your uniqueness will come out if you just focus on that one thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a really great point that you've touched on there. Be yourself, because everyone else is taken. Don't pretend that you have to be something that you're not. I say live your truth, and just be the best authentic self that you can be. And
right.
if you market yourself authentically and with integrity, people are going to pick up on that, and they're going to gravitate to you, right? And
right.
And the type of people that you attract might be slightly different to the type of people that I attract. And the beautiful thing is, this is a huge marketplace. Let's just close out on this one point, because this will also be very beneficial to the people that have found your website. People often say to me, so am I getting in at the right time? And I laugh, because, like I said, the internet is not going away, and we haven't even scratched the surface. The interesting thing about this space, this internet arena, is it's what I call a never-ending, going away, always replenishing marketplace. I'm going to say that again.
That's true.
It's a never-ending, going away, always replenishing marketplace.
Right.
Like new entrant, new entrant, new entrant, new entrant, new entrant, new entrant. So it's like we're fishing in a fishing hole, and the fish it doesn't matter how many fish we pull out of that fishing hole, the fish, they just keep coming. So there is no first mover advantage. The time is always now, right? This is a never-ending, always replenishing marketplace. So my advice to people is, the quicker you actually make a decision to get some more information and go about reskilling yourself and learn how to connect with people of influence like yourself, get good coaching and mentoring, get the right information around what tools and resources actually really matter, and get up and running, in good step-by-step type training to get you implemented quickly, the faster you will have results here. Don't delay. Why put off that decision to tomorrow or next week or next year? Because I'm pretty certain, well, I know for a fact that I talk to people today that tell me stories like, oh yeah, I looked at this a year ago, or I looked at this 2 years ago, or I looked at this 5 years ago. I've even had someone say to me, oh yeah, I was dabbling in this 10 years ago. And I'm going, exactly, you were dabbling. 10 years ago you were dabbling. Imagine where you'd be today if 10 years ago you just got focused for half a minute, right? So my advice is, the time is now. Take this opportunity. The quicker you get in, get the real information around this, then you can be up and running. And, and our wish and want for everyone, right, is that they can become sovereign off the internet. So they develop new skills, they learn how to leverage technology, and they can increase their time, money, location, whatever it is that your goal and objective is. And all of that is readily available to everyday people.
Right. And we believe we have the team to help everybody do that, Drew. I mean, that's why we get the best mentorship possible. We've hired you as our top coach and your team. And
yeah, boy, so many great nuggets in a short amount of time there. So thanks for that. But you mentioned systems and processes, and you also talked about don't delay. And so what I would like to encourage everybody to do is click on the button below. We work closely and partner with Drew and his team, and he's our head coach. And so I would recommend and encourage you to click on that button below. Drew and his team only have a few slots, so they can only work with a few people at any given time. And so by getting started today, that ensures yourself a spot to be mentored, to be coached, and led through the process, through the system with Drew and his team. So that would be my wish and my want, my encouragement for you today.
Yeah, 2016 is coming, right? So I know a lot of people will be hopping on, changing their lives. So that's why we're doing this webinar now, so we can encourage the early birds, that you're going to have a top coach to work with and go through the step-by-step system that truly changed our lives. I don't know if I mentioned, he came out of the corporate world, many years in that world, executive, and we would not have been able to become true entrepreneurs, enjoying what we're doing, feeling confident without the help of Drew and his team and the step-by-step process. So thanks, Drew.
Awesome. One thing too, real quick about that, I was going to say is that, when you work with somebody like Drew, the thing that is so exciting for me is I wanted to speed that process up as fast as possible. And I know that Pam and I have the ability and the skills to do what it takes, but with no knowledge, it might have taken us 2 years or 3 years to get to where we want to be. By working with and hiring a mentor and a coach and going through a process, we just speed up that process so much quicker to get to where we want to get quicker. So that's another word of encouragement for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does really always come down to the mentoring and coaching. I often think, well, who's the coach behind the coach, or who's the mentor behind the mentor? And one of the things that we have in common here is that we've got a great genealogy behind us. In fact, my mentor and coach, who I was blessed to meet in 2009, has been the top income earner in 3 different companies in 3 different niche markets. He's a true legend in the industry. He was rated the 48th most successful direct seller in the online space. He's made millions of dollars. Now, you can't buy that type of coaching and mentoring. You just have to be blessed, as I was in 2009, to happen to be in the right place at the right time, and I asked the right questions, and that person took me under his wing, and he remains my mentor, coach, confidant today. He's a friend, and that's the sort of genealogy that we have behind us. That's what leads to fast track results. If you can find the right person that's prepared to say, well, we know this works, that typically doesn't work, this is the proven path, these are the right people, processes and products and systems and the like that you should invest time and energy in, then that is the fastest path. So who is this for? This is for serious-minded individuals that want to get good coaching, good mentoring. They want to fast track themselves to that magic $10,000 a month. We've got a step-by-step process here that can get you there definitely within the next 6 to 12 months, if not sooner, if you're a massive action taker. So come and join us.
Yes. Thank you so much, Drew, for your time. And we look forward to seeing all of you, meeting you in person if you decide to join us. And know that we're committed. As you probably are picking up on in this video, we are all committed to your success. And you all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Drew.
Bye for now. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye-bye.